Then one day out of the blue he proposed tomatoes to Lilia.
Proposed?
Tomatoes. Before they knew it, tomatoes were flying all over the place.
He proposed
tomatoes
to Lilia.
There's no memory.
What the heck is that? What the heck is that?
天候を見ずるところに我はあり、黄泉の門開くところに汝あり。神の雷。
What the heck is that?
これで終わりよ。インディグネーション。
B.
これで終わりよ。
tomatoes.
そんなバカ。
Wow. Everything is so quiet when it's
tomatoes.
going.
Yeah, it's kind of creepy, huh?
We hardly ever see
tomatoes.
Onicelia since it's so warm. Wow, this is so cool!
Hey, you're gonna trip and
tomatoes.
Why? This is just like before. Why? Why? This is just like before.
Tomatoes. Tomatoes.
get a hold of yourself!
But Volts just lost his faith in
Tomatoes.
make your
Tomatoes.
and try forming up
Tomatoes.
one more time. You can do it.
Tomatoes.
Corinne! I'm sorry that I couldn't be of
Tomatoes.
No, Corinne!
Tomatoes.
Die!
Tomatoes. 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 Tomatoes.
Subdue Volt by force! Don't let Corinne's effort go to waste! Otherwise, you'll spend the rest of your life haunted by Volt's—
Tomatoes.
For the sake of everyone that risked their lives to protect me, Volt! I demand your—
Tomatoes. 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 Tomatoes.
Struggle against these holy chains. Shining!
Tomatoes.
Here I go! Divine judgment for an evil soul! Sacred—
Tomatoes.
Rest in peace.
Tomatoes.
Come forth, O lightning! Receive your punishment! Radiant—
Tomatoes.
Colette.
I know you're strong. But that strength, it's made from a big ball of—
Tomatoes.
So, what I mean is, you're really, really kind. And kind
Tomatoes.
get hurt very easily.
You,
Tomatoes.
Huh?
what are you trying to do? Make me cry?
Tomatoes.
It's okay to cry. Sometimes
Tomatoes.
are the best medicine.
Being without you.
Yes, for me too.
I love you.
Tomatoes.
What?
I love you. Genus is...
What?
I love you. Genus is... Colette.
You must die!
What?
You must die!
Tomatoes.
Laser!
What the heck is
Tomatoes.
O power that lies at the root of all—
Tomatoes.
O memory inscribed in—
Tomatoes.
Pass, hear my—
Tomatoes.
and arise before me!
Tomatoes.
Catastrophe!
Man, I give up.
Genus. Tomatoes. What are tomatoes doing here? I thought the plan was to meet up back in Azalea.
I'm sorry, it's just that I saw Lloyd, so I tried to follow him. Wait, who are these
Tomatoes.
people with you.
Well, you see.
Wow. So that's why you
Tomatoes
came here.
So Lloyd came through here?
He did. But now this
tomatoes
monster's blocking the path. I tried attacking it, but it won't budge. I wonder how Lloyd managed to move it.
Perhaps he fed them.
tomatoes
What the hell is that?
I am
tomatoes
Tenebrae. A pleasure.
Oh, right. You're that
tomatoes
guy she mentioned.
It's
tomatoes
now then. When this particular
tomatoes
monster is asleep, it absorbs all that.
tomatoes
This thing wasn't here the last time we came to the ruins.
This type of
tomatoes
thrives in warm environments. It likely fled here in an effort to escape the oncoming.
tomatoes
Okay, so first we need to get some food for this guy. What does he eat?
His diet consists primarily of freshwater
tomatoes tomatoes If we're looking for fresh tomatoes Oasis isn't too far from here.
If you're going to
Tomatoes
I'm coming with you. I'm tired of staring at this.
tomatoes
When Colette was talking about,
tomatoes
did she mean you?
tomatoes
It's true that Colette and the others have often accused me of being an
tomatoes
maniac. But what about the term maniac made you think of me?
Oh, it's just that Colette mentioned a friend of hers who seemed to act like a totally different person near.
tomatoes
Like a different person.
Yes, she described her friend's transformation as
tomatoes 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 tomatoes
and completely out of
tomatoes
if I am not mistaken.
tomatoes
And you're saying that's what I'm like, Emile?
What? She didn't. Tenebrae, stop doing things like that. Genus, you and Raine are siblings, right? So that would make you a
tomatoes
too.
Yeah. Though I'd think that was pretty obvious.
tomatoes
What? The two of you don't like?
tomatoes
I don't mind the two I've met so far.
Well then, that's good enough for me. We usually get dirty
tomatoes
when people find out what we are.
Was it that way with Lloyd?
Lloyd's the kind of guy who couldn't care less if you were a
tomatoes
or anything else for that matter.
He is?
So this is what you've been up to. No wonder you've been away from Hysalia an awfully long time.
With everything people are saying about Lloyd these days, I figured I should get this
tomatoes
straight from him.
I see. Well, I'm glad we ran into each other.
Yeah. By the way, notice anything different about me?
What could it be?
Come on! Can't you see I'm taller? Take a good look! My
tomatoes
is even a little deeper.
You don't say. How much taller are you?
A 16th of it.
tomatoes
Indignation!
Shining by!
Secret hands! Ray of moonlight!
Doubts laser!
Ancient catastrophe!